Hey, what is up guys? Brandon here, aka Mr. Brand Owner, and welcome back to a new YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly my $10 million plus e-com playbook, literally giving you all the sauce that we used and implemented into our new subscription brand last year in 2025. We ended up closing 2025 doing $10.5 million in revenue, and right now we're doing $2 million a month. So I'm going to be breaking down the exact strategy that we did so that you can go ahead and implement that into your own business. So first things first, introduction. Name is Brandon, 26 years old, from the Netherlands, been in the e-commerce space for over 6 years, literally sold everything that you can literally think about. Also had a brand 2 years ago where we were selling a hairstyling tool, did over 8 million euros in revenue, and then we transitioned to a supplement brand in 2025. So first things first, need to walk the talk, otherwise I wouldn't be Brandon, right? So first thing is going to be my results. Here you guys can see last year, 2025, we started our brand in February, ended up doing $10.5 million in revenue. Right around this time here in November, for the people that might be asking, okay, why is there a dip? We eventually ended up losing our Shopify payments, which I've posted a lot of stuff about. Also got a YouTube video on that, so go ahead and check that if you want. Right now, we're stronger and back. We're actually back and stronger than ever. So here you can see for 2026, last month, January 1st up until the 31st, we ended up doing $1.9 million in revenue. And if we were gonna add also Amazon and TikTok Shop to it, we're well over $2 million. And here you can also see for February, 1st of February till 28th of February 2026, we ended up doing $1.8 million in revenue, but we generated over 150K plus in Amazon and TikTok Shop sales. So that is also well over $2 million. So guys, also need to show my client results as well. I currently also help other people scale their brands, especially doing MRR. So we got Max and Emil right here who run a supplement brand now. First came to us, they were doing around 60K a month. We eventually implemented the right foundation and executed the exact same framework that we did for our own business. And now they're at 600K a month. Like literally within 2 months, they just ended up scaling to 600K a month. And as we speak right now, since this was in February, we're gonna end up doing $1 million a month. So that's super good. So good to see how Max and Emil are absolutely crushing it. And here we can also see Harjat, who is now running a male's care brand. Had no subscriptions when he started off. He was selling in markets where they did not really could implement MRR. We moved into a market where it's actually subscription friendly. And in 30 days, he went up to 31K in active MRR. And then we also got Emma, who also started off with her new supplement brand together with us. Only had fashion and branded, a little bit of branded Google dropshipping experience. And what we went ahead and did with her was actually find the product that solves a pain point for customers, built a website around it, and then eventually ended up creating ads to target the right specific avatar and started scaling profitable from the first order. So now she's also at 70K MRR. So guys, with the right framework, you can go ahead and make this work for yourself. In this video, what I'm going to be breaking down is going to be the exact e-com winning 2026 framework. Like guys, every single year the game changes, so this is going to be the most up-to-date YouTube video on terms of how the market looks like right now. If you go ahead and watch this as soon as possible, yeah, you guys are going to be up-to-date and can front run the other people that are lacking and still behind, right? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down product research, avatar research, and market research, creative strategy, funnels and offers, retention and backend, and scaling. Right? And obviously you guys know I run a subscription brand, right? So in this specific video, I'm also going to be breaking down why subscriptions win in terms of mathematical wise, numbers wise, and also long term. So to break it down here real quick for you guys, we can see here that with subscriptions, you have longer retention from one customer, right? Second is going to be you're not going to be dependent on Facebook and skill and can still scale while at break even. You're going to be profitable from month 2 forward. You can outspend everyone that is also spending in your niche, win Facebook auction versus competitors because you can outspend them more, predictable growth year round, and higher multiples for future exit if you do it correctly. You can do it to a 4 to 8 EBITDA if you have like doing crazy numbers and consistent growth every single year. Right? And that versus a one-time brand. And guys, I've also run a one-time brand, okay? I'm not shitting on one-time brands. There's obviously also opportunities there, but just based on also my experience in the game, like subscriptions just literally changed the world for me. So with one-time brands, you obviously have low retention, dependent on Facebook ROAS. If you have a bad day, then obviously you also have bad or even no profits. If you have a good day, then you're really dependent on Facebook because then you have a good day, meaning more profit. So I didn't want to really be dependent on Facebook, okay? So you also typically you need 3 purchases to be profit, right? Because obviously Facebook ads is spending at the same time. So obviously once it spends more, you maybe got 1 or 2 sales, then it's break even when the 3rd sale comes in. then you're going to be profitable in terms of like looking at the CAC versus, you know, sales on your store. Obviously, you're also competing on everyone with skill. Everyone is just focused on acquiring customers as soon as possible and also as cheap as possible. There's no predictable growth, only in Q4 when it's gift giving season. And you also have a lower multiple for future exits, which is going to be like a 2 to 3 EBITDA if you're lucky. And also to prove again why subscription is the winner when it comes down to this is that why do you see that all these brands are actually one of the fastest growing e-com brands in 2026? Maybe even from 2025. We got Runs, Grunts, AG1. Like guys, they all run freaking subscriptions. Okay, they all run subscriptions. So just mathematical wise and long-term wise, you can see that this is just the right game to play in terms of also compounding. Okay. And the most important skill set that people are lacking in order to build and scale a profitable business in 2026 is going to be an understanding, but also execution of acquisition and retention. Okay. So front end is ads. How are we going to acquire customers? But once we've paid to acquire customers, why not also focus on retaining that customer? How do we get them to come back? Like you spend money on ads anyway. So these are from my experience, these are the two biggest pillars that most businesses struggle with. It's always how are we going to acquire a customer and how do we keep them along as long as possible? Not just only in the e-com DTC space, also service businesses. Like it's all the same thing. End of the day, we're in the business world, guys. Okay. Not to bash on all of you, but like most of you guys are stuck doing the following. You guys are pumping and dumping stores. You find one winning product or ad and think it's going to last forever. And guys, like I said, I had a one-time purchase brand also. That is not the case. Okay. You guys are also either selling fashion or general products. It's all you know. Like I cannot blame you guys. And you guys do want to get started with the brand, but you actually do not know how. And or even the last thing would be you guys do have a brand, whoever is watching this, but you can't seem to unlock skill. So I'm going to go ahead and just break all those beliefs that you have in this video and show you actually with some work, you can get it done. Okay. So also what's super important for the guys watching this is that most of you guys are also one-man army. Okay. You guys need to really treat your business as a business and start handling it as an operator. Okay. So not being super tight on hiring people and stuff. Like I know people doing 800K a month and they're doing everything solo. Like they only have customer service team, which congrats and it's good, but you're just running around circles in your business, right? And obviously you'll be able to even scale way further if you just go ahead and acquire A players who can just help think, strategize, and build your business. The problem also is that you guys do not have a long-term vision, because that also goes hand in hand with long-term vision, but also scaling your brand. You guys are mostly focused on, I want to make profit, I want to make sales right now, and which is obviously a good thing to do in the beginning, but also have a plan of action behind it to grow your business, right? We don't want to, like I said, you don't want to be pumping and dumping stores. Okay, we want to build brands that are going to be long-term and eventually exit, because that's where the money is. Everyone that just sells for the sake of selling. End of the day, you're going to just be running in circles also. So the 12-month roadmap, it doesn't need to be 12 months, it can also be every quarter. Just build brick by brick that you eventually grow and your business grows and eventually you can exit it. Because like I said, in e-com, our money is always tied up in cash flow. So that's what you guys need to also learn. So my take is, this is why I only build subscription brands, or actually also help build subscription brands. I mean, I also have experience when it comes down to branding, but the math just allows you to pay more for customers, which means you win an auction, which means you can scale faster, and everyone else is just fighting to break even while we are already profitable. So let's go ahead and get started with this video, guys. We're gonna break everything literally down for you. So we're gonna first start with product research. Okay, this is going to be the exact same framework that we use in order to acquire actually our product to eventually scaling it to 8 figures plus a year. Okay, so there's going to be 3 criteria that I want you guys to do, of actually go through, tick them off, and then once you have them all 3, stop searching. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to solve a real problem. Okay, but for a specific group and not for just general men between 30 to 55. We want to solve a problem which they would pay today to fix it, like immediately. Right? Something that's very emotional or physical attached, which is a problem that the customer has. Okay, so in this example, for example, we got people that are experiencing hair loss as they grow. Right? Obviously, there's people at 18 that already have hair loss or like these bald spots and stuff. But for an example that we don't want to target it or frame it is that we don't want to target men that are just interested in hair loss solutions, right? We want to narrow it down and make it more niche and make it like, okay, men with early male pattern baldness. Okay, we want to identify the audience that we eventually want to target with the specific pain point. Also, another example, not men who just have joint pain, that's too general. We want to go more deeper into that. So former athletes in their 40s with chronic knee pain, right? The more specific you understand this, the better your ads are going to perform. Like guys, if you know who your avatar is, if you know what's their pain point, how to talk to them, you can create even better ads. Your team can create better ads, and then you can just go ahead and target these people, and you're going to start seeing better results on Facebook anyways. Like it always comes down to making more ads, and it does come down to making quality over volume, which is what I would say. But if you understand your market better than the customers understand themselves, like then you are not going to have that much problems creating new ads. Okay. Second thing is going to be markup. Okay, so you need to know your numbers. So you shouldn't just find a product for the sake of finding a product and then just trying to sell it as cheap as possible. Okay, I think this is where people come in and say, oh yeah, this is where I get into branding because I can sell it for much more. But when it comes down to subscriptions, like, okay, that's a little bit of a different game. It's who can spend the most to acquire a customer and know and understand their numbers in order to be profitable long term. Right? If you do not care about how much you spend, you just want to get customers through the door, know you're going to make that money back in X amount of time, like you can outspend your competitors. Okay, so you need to know your numbers. So for example, you do not want to buy a product for $15 in total of COGS, so product costs and shipping costs, and eventually selling it just for $29. Okay, you want to have a product that is like $15 in total, and then eventually you want to sell it for 45 plus. The higher the AOV, the better, obviously, but we'll get into that. So why you want to do it that way is because margin is everything, right? Margin also shows you how much you can spend testing creatives. Low amount of margin means you cannot test, means you cannot scale. Okay, especially guys that only have a low amount of budget that want to really get started with branding or whatsoever. Like you do need to know what you're doing. You need to be on top of your numbers. Okay, not just making revenue for the sake of making revenue. Third thing, something that I really like is going to be the MRR element. So subscription brand owners. Right? If you want to do subscriptions, you want to do MRR, you need to have a product that goes hand in hand with MRR. That's why I call it the MRR element. So consumable or refillable. So we got examples here being shoes, clothing, gadgets, jewelry are absolute no-go. You cannot connect a subscription to it, right? And the products you can connect a subscription to or at least do MRR on is going to be supplements, skincare, hair care, pet food, and there's even other ones like coffee, protein coffee, whatsoever. Like those are good, but those are very hard to get in. But these are super easy, okay? And why you want to do MRR is because LTV over CAC, so lifetime value of your customers. If you can get customers to stay with you at least 3 to 4 months plus, the longer the better. Like you can literally outspend and have unlimited skill versus on the CPA, what you're going to eventually have in Facebook. So you can go ahead and acquire customers for way more. Even when it comes to like negative cash conversion cycle, you know, like I like talking about those things, which I'm also going to get into in a bit, but the model just makes sense. Okay, so guys, where do you want to find the products, right? I'm not just going to give you the framework and you guys do not know what to do. So first things first, you guys need to go ahead and acquire Tool Suite and Trend Track. I'm going to have these things linked in the description. So Tool Suite we want to go ahead and acquire so we can get SimilarWeb, Atria, all those type of apps for just $39 a month. Like guys, this is not even advertising, you know, do what you want with this info. If you don't want to use it and you go ahead and use Atria, $400, $300 a month, be my guest. Okay, I'm just giving you exactly my framework, what we're using. I'm not gatekeeping, just telling you guys what to do with at least what I'm doing. And then we can also use Trend Track, which is actually a very new tool and which is going to start getting even more popular on Twitter. Is you can literally go ahead and see like best selling of at least trending shops, the amount of revenue they're doing. It's even more crazy than Atria and all these other tools that you have out there. Like it's very new, very accurate. I've went ahead and checked it, also even checked my brand myself. Like the numbers are somewhat accurate. So also just been doing a little bit of research because I also help my clients find new products as well when they end up working one-on-one with us if they're starting from zero. And like this has been a complete game changer. So if you go ahead and use these two tools, SimilarWeb, Atria, Trend Track, get all these tools. I think you got like 50 tools in here. Like guys, just for $30 a month for the tool suite and Trend Track, I'm not sure how much it is, but it also isn't that expensive. Like you're going to have everything that you need in order to start doing manual research, finding a new winner, and then eventually scaling it, like literally. So once you guys have met all three criteria for these products, like the first thing what you want to go ahead and do is you want to conduct global research on the product. Okay, so we're not talking about market avatar research. We first want to understand what does the product do, what are the other competitors doing on it, on Facebook, Ads Library, and Atria. So we need to search direct and indirect competitors through Facebook, Google, Atria, get info from there so we understand what the product does. What does the product solve, okay? Goal of the research is to find an underserved avatar that is not being sold to yet. Like that's gonna open the blue ocean angle, okay? So I love saturated products. So I don't care about, if there's so many people, like even my brand now, we're in a saturated market, a market that no one would want to touch because, oh shit, it's so saturated. But we always go ahead and crack a new angle, like a blue ocean angle is what I'm gonna call it. And that's what's gonna unlock unlimited scale for us, right? At least to tap into the market. So, or we also want to go ahead and create a new mechanism. That's also a part of it. So when we go ahead and look at our competitors, we want to check what type of angles they're running, note it, what unique mechanism are they using, or is it something new that they introduced for an already existing product. We want to also see what their avatar is, who are they targeting, and also the problem and the solution that they're offering towards their customers. So guys, next step, what you guys want to go ahead and do is build a Claude project to create your brand's brain. Like I do not work with people, I do not do this. Like obviously AI, you need to know how to prompt it. It's not just for the sake of, oh, find me a product or do this research. You really need to prompt it the right way, which I can talk hours and hours on, like creating skills into Claude so that it never forgets what you did, and connecting it to these third-party knowledge-based systems so that it can just keep on improving and self-learning even. Like I'm not going to get too much into that, but what you want to go ahead and do is you want to compile all information on your product, market, and competitors into a centralized system. But most important thing, you do not want to go ahead and do that in the beginning, because AI is not a knowledge base that can think for itself right now, at least, and also self-learn. Like you're going to need to use different tools and stuff. But if you just want to go ahead and use Claude, ChatGPT, you need to feed it info in order for it to just go accurately looking for specific information. So if you go ahead and say like, okay, hey, I have this hair loss shampoo, like do research, like it's going to give you the most general basic things. You're not going to be able to find newer angles, understand deep level pain of your avatars and stuff. So always important to do manual research, which I'm also going to get into on how you do that. And then eventually give all the info to AI and then start using AI to at least do things a little bit quicker. So we got Claude and Gemini. I'm just telling you exactly what we do. So with Claude, we have research, copywriting, ad analysis, creating persona, creating ads, inspo and insights, script writing, static ads, UGC, hooks, and creating lenders. And we also use it optional for all research related stuff, analyzing ad accounts and ads, and coming up with new concepts and briefs. At the time of this recording, I don't use ChatGPT anymore. Like it's so far behind. Claude is there. Claude is good. Manus is also coming up, which I'm also going to get into. But Claude so far for copywriting and stuff, like the best. All right. At the time of this, when you watch this video, maybe a year from now, maybe it might no longer be the case. Okay. I'm just saying it at the time of recording. So we use Gemini also for analyzing video and static ads from ourselves and competitors, give learnings and feedback loops on our ads to improve. And we also got Nano Banana, which also helps creating static images. Okay, so that is exactly what you can go ahead and implement as of today. You probably need to get a pro plan or something. So next thing that we're going to head into is going to be avatar and market research. Okay, so the goal for this is to understand them better than they understand themselves. Literally what I just explained. So first part is going to be conducting first party research. Okay, so we want to go ahead and research everything about our product on these platforms and also understand our customers even better. So Amazon, Reddit, YouTube, Google, Facebook groups. You can even go to YouTube, go looking in comments, all that type of stuff. When we go over to Amazon, for example, we look up the product, we see what type of competitors are there. We look at the top 3 to 5 competitors, their reviews, and we want to understand the first and 5 star reviews that customers are giving. It's just going to give much more information on these platforms. But obviously Amazon also has an incentive part where people are incentivized to leave a review. So a little bit manipulated. So that's why I also like Reddit as well, where Reddit is just an open platform. People can go to, be super open and even anonymous. And they will just explain if they did or did not like something. Same counts for Facebook ads groups, especially older audience. They like chatting and getting other people's opinions and stuff. And have you seen this? Blah, blah, blah. So there's also a lot of info that you can find in there. And obviously Google is also your best friend as well. So like I said, the focus points, I already spitted it, but the focus points here is we want to first on Facebook, next to Facebook groups, we also want to check on Facebook ads library. We want to break down the ads that our competitors are running. So for example, we have this in a simple Excel sheet where we have competitor one, we have their ad link, ad format, hook, headline, target avatar, script POV, authority figure, are they using it, desired outcome, common enemy, field solutions, and problem description. Like we go ahead and just break that down for every single ad, which is interesting to us so that we just understand our avatar better. We can also feed our AI better with it, right? So we go ahead and do that for like our top 3 to 5 competitors. Really depends on which market you're in. And we understand exactly why also our competitors are doing X way. And how can we be different from them? Like I said, we also go ahead and look on Amazon for the reviews. We look at the 5-star and the 1-star reviews, learn that, also note that somewhere. We have just a global sheet where we literally, like I said, deep dive competitors, have the reviews of global first party research is what I call it. And then we also got some other tabs that we just fill in information which can be interesting. Obviously, also people can go ahead and look on Trustpilot. I'm not going to dive into this. Trustpilot, the mafia. Yeah, you can go ahead and look at that. I mean, it can also be super easy manipulated. Second part of research is going to be building out your avatar. Okay, so once you've conducted all these research, you want to build out your avatar first manually also. Again, you want to understand your avatars yourself, and then afterwards you can go deep diving into AI and finding some new stuff. So demographic, identity, language, at least the language that they're using. Like you need to know your avatar better than them know themselves. Okay, so you need to go ahead and also probably in your Excel sheet note down exactly like who's your target audience, who are they, what's their identity, how do they talk, like what's their life probably looking at. Well, how does your ideal customer persona even look like? Like who are they? If you understand that, yeah, you can just your ads output in terms of quality and stuff is going to be way better, and also for your team to even understand what's going on. But first things first, like I said, most of you guys are one-man armies, doing everything yourself, maybe even create a strategy, creating the ads, maybe you got an editor if you're lucky, and you know everything, but you need to also have all that information somewhere that, you know, AI, but also your team members can also go ahead and learn from as well. Otherwise, you're always going to be involved, never going to really get towards that CEO role. So we're going to head over into the third part, which is going to be the 5 levels of awareness stages. Guys, super important to understand this, especially running ads on Facebook. This determines your entire ad and funnel strategy, right? Match message to awareness level. So it really depends on like where you're at as well, but I'm going to break this down for you guys. So we got obviously the Schwartz pyramid, the 5 levels of awareness stages. You guys all know probably breakthrough advertising. Like, okay, I'm not going to dive too much into that, but what goes into this is literally the 5 stages: being most aware, product aware, solution aware, problem aware, and completely unaware. Okay, it's so important to understand that because that's how you're going to also create your ads around. Okay, that's literally the guideline you need to follow. So we're going to first break down exactly what these things mean. So we got level 1, unaware, right? So customers have symptoms, but they don't recognize it as a problem. So the ad strategy behind this is actually educational content that reveals the problem to the customer, where if they eventually end up seeing it, they're going to be like, I did not know that this was actually a problem. You know, I thought it was probably normal. So then here it goes ahead to say as an example hook, like why you're always tired by 2 p.m. and how I fix it in 30 days. Okay, it just talks to your unaware target audience. Level 2 is going to be problem aware. So they do know that they have a problem, but they don't know a solution exists. Okay, so ad strategy is going to be agitate on the problem, introduce solution type in the ads. And the example hook is, I thought my skin barrier was permanently damaged until I discovered this. Third thing is going to be solution aware. Okay, so the customer knows the solution exists, but now they're just shopping around for the best one. So ad strategy is going to be mechanism focused and why others fail. Example hook is going to be most joint supplements use glucosamine. Here's why they don't actually work for chronic pain. And then level 4 is going to be product aware. So customers do know your product exists, but haven't bought yet. Okay, so they've probably seen your ads a couple of times. You can even go ahead and structure your ads to even target unaware and aware customers as well if you want to really go that deep. But the ad strategy for this is going to be social proof, results, and testimonials. Okay, so an example hook is going to be, here's what happened after 60 days using product, and you show results, right? And then we also got level 5, which is going to be most aware. So the customers, they trust you. You just need a reason to buy. Okay, so the ad strategy for this is going to be direct offer and urgency. So example hook will be 48 hours only, subscribe and save 25% plus free shipping. That's just going to get the customer to come easy through the door. A lot of you guys also, like, you guys would find yourselves mostly in like level 2 to level 3. Okay, level 1 is very hard to really tap into. And I'm also going to go into the funnels and stuff that you need based on which level of awareness stage. But most of you guys find yourself in problem and solution aware level. So if you guys master this, understand the specific, like your avatar, again, it comes back to that. I'm going to probably mention it a couple of times more. But if you understand them to a point that you can now go ahead and iterate ads based on the market level, and also with the right ad strategy, also with the right angles and all that type of stuff, like, guys, you're going to be able to just unlock way more skill. And the most common mistakes that you guys make here is going to be running most aware ads, so product and discount stuff, to problem aware cold traffic. So they do not know you yet, but you need to understand in which stage your audience is to match your customer language to their awareness level. This counts for your ads, but also for your landing page. Super important, okay? Because you guys would end up testing very saturated products, just doing your 50% off or whatsoever offer, and just think like, okay, this product doesn't work for me, because you think it's the product, but literally it's just your ads, your understanding of marketing, and knowing how to talk to your customer, and at least your customer message as well. For us to create ads like this, like, I can give you obviously the framework of, okay, this is what you should focus on. But what we do in order to make ads, like, for example, we also have the breakthrough advertising PDF. Like, you can go ahead and find a cracked version online. After conducting all the manual research and stuff, you can also go ahead and import the breakthrough advertising file into your Claude, so that he also understands and knows how to eventually create ads around which level you want to target, right? And also a number one tip that you guys should go ahead and do is that Claude it's not really good at reading PDFs. So what you want to go ahead and do is you want to create .md files. It's just a more text file format for Claude to really grab all the information from a PDF, because PDF is really a bit heavy file document for them. So that's why when you create documents with, for example, ChatGPT, and you have specific characters in it, you're going to see it's just going to just black box it, you know. So just doing PDF to .md converter, and you can just import this into your Claude, and then you can start building out winners. But obviously you need to still keep on feeding the machine. So next thing what we're going to go into is going to be creative strategy. Super important as well, next to, because otherwise you can have all the level awareness stages, know them, but if you do not know how to eventually create your ads, like, you're effed. The goal is finding winning angles and having a healthy hit rate while creating a competitive environment for your team. So this is just not creative strategy, but it's also team building. So step one, what you want to go ahead and do is find angles from research. So what are the pain points, desires, and objectives and stories that you can use towards your customer? Second thing is going to be step 2, create multiple concepts per angle. Same angle, but different ways to say it, okay? And then different stories, but different executions. Super important. Step 3 is going to be deliver each in multiple formats. Okay, so UGC, VSL, image ads, carousels. Make sure that when you create your ads, you have your angles set up. You know what type of way you're going to also do it towards your customers. Make sure that you also create that specific ad in multiple formats, because maybe one format might not work versus another one it would. And you would otherwise just drop it and just no longer, and just think like, okay, this doesn't work for me. When if you went ahead and used a different format, at least from our experience from running our brand and also looking at our Facebook stats, like, testing multiple formats really does help. So that's why I'm giving you guys this advice. Step 4 is going to be test big swings, so not small tweaks. Okay, so new angles, new formats, not just a different hook, 4 or 5 hooks on the same video. Okay, you really need to test all these things, do it more serious. Like I said, test different formats, test different hooks, not just 1 to 3, maybe do 4 to 5. And then that's going to really help you unlock more, at least ads that are going to get more spend and also have lower CPAs versus your active long running ads. Okay. If we went ahead and just tested it, the standard framework, which everyone is doing right now, like, we would not have had that much winners, to be honest. So we also need to go ahead and keep testing out new things every single time. Number 5 is going to be double down on winners and push out quality volume. Okay, so I get asked a lot, is volume important or quality? But guys, both of it. Like, obviously with the more volume you test, you're going to get more feedback. But if you are using shitty ads and you don't have quality ads, or the messaging towards the customer is completely off the radar, or you maybe miss out on a few hooks which might have cracked that specific ad, like guys, you would not have known like, okay, this is going to be a winning ad afterwards. So you do need to double down on winners and push out quality and volume, but obviously quality over volume, but you want both. So obviously here we got the different ad formats that you guys can go ahead and use. And I'm going to be diving into the most common winning angles that you guys can go ahead and implement today, like literally after this video. So pain angle, I was embarrassed too, works very well. Transformation angle, in just 30 days I went from X to X, also works very well. Discovery angle, I finally found out why XXX. Social proof angle, 10,000 women are using this. Urgency angle, I wish I had started sooner. Us versus them, other products do X, but ours does E. Okay, so these work very, very well. These are just common winning angles. If you go ahead and do just competitor research, you can see that most of them also uses at least one of these. Super easy. Go ahead and copy these and then try them out with your own brand. Okay. And then the most important thing next to just creating ads for the sake of creating ads, right, is going to be that you need to also create a competitive environment for not only your creative strategists and editors, but just for your team in general. You don't want to be creating ads for the sake of hitting an amount of creatives per week. Okay, so you want to focus on quality over volume, but try maxing both with triple X, guys. Try maxing both, not just, oh, okay, I'm going to just pump out. I would rather pump out 50 ads. I would rather not pump out 50 ads that just for the sake of pumping out 50 ads, and my win rate is 5%, where if I were to pump out 30 and my win rate is 10 to 12%, I'd rather just stay on the 30 instead of 50. Right? You need to do the math. Like, I think most of you guys don't even track your stuff. So go ahead and check it. Like how much win rate is your team, you yourself maybe even doing. So track amount of winners per strategist, ads made versus of at least divided by winning ads is your win rate. Make sure to have a sheet or something, keep that in there, and make sure it's visible for everyone to do weekly calls with the team to discuss this. So we call this feedback loop calls, so it's very underrated. I know you as an operator do not want to be jumping in calls 2 to 3 times a week, talking with the team, always talking about the same thing. But guys, end of the day in ecom, we're direct response marketers, right? So we need to know how phase of at least our ads are performing, new things that we crack, double down on new stuff that shows potential, or even things that are showing potential not working really well. How can we make sure that it does work? So having that feedback every single week with your team and having the stats visible, like most of you guys do not even show your media buying, of at least you guys do not show your ad accounts to your team. Like, I don't know what you want to be hiding, but you know, you can literally just be like, yo, I don't know, name. I see like we were seeing this, like, okay, why isn't it working? And even why is it working? Like, you want to be breaking those things down and just keeping it in mind. And then you can go ahead and do monthly calls with your team and be like, okay, hey, for this month, like if your average win rate is going to be this, or I'm not sure if you guys also track super win rate, because we do that. If you guys are not like tracking that, how are you going to give feedback to your team? How do you even know that your creative strategist or maybe editor are good? They're just paying for the sake of paying a salary and just hoping that amount of ads get delivered. So you don't want to be doing that. So even at scale, another good tip which you guys can go ahead and use, we only got one creative agency though, is going to be creating an in-house versus creative agency competitive environment. So you want to have your own in-house team, and I would always choose my in-house team over a creative agency. But just the creative agencies have a leverage of seeing what works for a lot of different ad accounts for different brands, which they can also go ahead and implement into your brand. But the bad thing about that is that obviously, if you create something new, something that's a winner, they're going to also go ahead and implement that into brand Y. Okay, so I would always prefer my in-house team over creative agency team, but you can also in your weekly calls like track the creative agency win rate and track your in-house win rate and be like, hey, the creative agency hit 10%, we hit 8%. Like, why that difference? You know, and then you need to stay on top of just the continuous loop of wanting to improve. So make sure that you guys go ahead and do that as well. I'm not saying that you have to go ahead and acquire a very expensive agency. There's an advantage to it when you're at least starting out for the first time, seeing if you can crack out new things. I know brands that go ahead and recycle jump around agencies 2-3 months just to get all the insights, bring it in-house, make the team learn from it. So it's more of an investment than you just spending money. So as for the testing phase and the scaling phase. So the testing phase, after conducting all the research, you understand the market awareness stages, you understand who's your avatar, you understand creative strategy into creating ads. Now you want to go ahead and unlock your avatar, at least know which specific angle is working for you. So you're going to test different angles, and you want to also be finding what messaging works in your niche. Okay, so that also comes out of deep research and also testing. So this is exactly how your testing trend line is going to look like. Like you're going to test, get a few spend winners, get a few sales, might go down afterwards. But afterwards, if you just keep on repeating until it cracks, understanding also why things are not working and also what is working, doubling down on what works, boom, it's going to just become a green straight line. Okay, so that's going to also be called the scaling phase. So we got focus on winning messaging, on proven concepts, testing new concepts for winning angles, and obviously keep improving and testing new things so that you're not just dependent on a few winning ads and that's it. You want to keep that ball rolling. So like I said, the math, right? If 5% of creatives work, you need to test 20 creatives to find one winner. But the more you focus on quality over volume to increase your win rate, the same amount of 20 tests can create 2 winners. So make sure that you go ahead and do that as well. Okay guys, about the creative strategies part, marketing as well, we have a deeper dive into marketing by the Facebook wizard himself, my business partner Raymo. We got a YouTube video on this channel, how to scale your e-com brand to 100K a month, and he completely breaks down even more in depth than what I do in this video on how to exactly execute creative strategy and eventually launching ads. Okay, I understand marketing like to a level like, okay, but Raymo, the Facebook wizard, that's why I'm also calling that, he's built different. Okay, so make sure to go check that out on the channel. So the next thing is going to be funnels and offers. So the goal is to match funnel to traffic temperature and stack your offers. So guys, this is going to be a very fun one. We got different funnel types, right? So we got cold, warm, and hot traffic. Okay, so I'm going to be breaking down exactly what type of landing pages you need to be running, of pre-landers. A lot of names are being thrown in space, but whatever type of landing page you want to run towards specific traffic. So we got cold traffic right here, which are mostly the unaware and problem-aware audience. Okay, so they don't know you, so you need to warm them up first. So the exact good funnel types for these audience is going to be advertorials and quiz funnels. Quiz funnels, very underrated here. I do not have a picture of a quiz funnel right here, but you can go ahead and find specific big guys running quiz funnels, like even unlocked skill for us, right? But most of you guys know advertorials. And obviously I also got here a few examples of a big toe issue advertorial, at long last, a bunion corrector that really works, helps relieve pain and straightens the big toe. Okay, and these are obviously how advertorials look like. More news article bloggy, more working for an older audience. And here I got another example of an ultrasonic toothbrush that is safer and healthier for teeth. Okay, so these ones work very, very well for this specific audience types based on the temperature of the traffic. Next thing is going to be warm traffic. Okay, so we got problem and solution aware audience. They know the problem, but they're just shopping around for solutions. So they need a reason why to buy from you. So those type of funnel types that work very, very well are going to be listicles and VSL pages. So I got here 2 examples of a listicle that works very well for these big brands. We got JV Coffee right here, selling I think it's mushroom coffee brand or something, or maybe just coffee without the caffeine or something. They got 12 reasons why JV Coffee Concentrate will upgrade their mornings in 2026. Then they just break down exactly the 12 reasons why the customer would need JV Coffee. Okay, so they're just putting their product in the spotlight and also showing that they understand their customer, that the customer is like, okay, this is really for me. Okay, so we got JV here. You can do 5, 6, 7, 8 reasons why. It really doesn't matter. So they just did 12 in their case. Obviously, the more the better, I would say. And then we also got Blissy right here. Having 5 reasons why your kid needs to sleep on a Blissy Junior pillowcase tonight, right? And then they break down 5 reasons why, and then they have a CTA on where you can buy it. Next thing is going to be hot traffic. Okay, so these are more solution and product aware audience, and they know that they want a solution like yours. All right, so now the only thing is that they just need that final push, like, okay, here, you've seen us multiple times, just buy from us now. Okay, here we got the funnel type that everyone knows is going to be a normal standard PDP. And even in most cases, sometimes this one still works very, very well versus others. So you might even see that you might not be able to crack advertorials because your advertorials work very, very well for unaware people. But if you're really in a stage of, solution to problem aware, like even that might even cause issues in trying to unlock advertorials. So listicles in PDP, at least for our brand, works very, very well. And here we can see like, okay, standard product page, you got your offer, you got your discounts visible, you got just general information and timelines and us versus them stuff and reviews on the product page. Customer sees that, gets convinced and buys. And another fun thing, as this is a very most up-to-date YouTube video out there in e-com right now, is going to be Manus. So right now we also got Manes. Like, bro, I even went ahead and fired my landing page designer 2 days ago. The reason for that is because I was playing with Manes a couple of days, and Manes right now, and you can go ahead and see people on Twitter even tweeting about it, is that Manes can now go ahead and connect to your Shopify store with an API key. Go ahead and create an app in Shopify, give it the API access, and then you can feed all the data that you have to Manes. You can also grab winning concepts or winning ads that you got, put it in there and make him read and understand why, at least transcribe it. Why is that really a winner? And then we also got any other funnel types that you guys might like from other competitors, listicles, advertorials. Show it to him, and then it can go ahead and create that in like seconds. Like literally, okay, it might take a couple of minutes, and then eventually upload it into Shopify, can do that automatically. You can even tell it to edit blocks so that it can go ahead and you can go ahead and manually just switch out whatever you want to switch out of that specific page that is made. And then boom, you can start now pumping out landing pages 1 per hour, a good one. I wouldn't be doing it like very quick, but I would really just prompt it correctly, because that's what's the most important thing with AI, and then give it all the info that you have on winning concepts, winning losers, trying to understand why it's a loser, but mostly just for listicles and advertorials, and even product pages. Maybe at the time that this releases, it might have even got way crazier. You can create 1 landing page per day. So you don't need the whole costly developers that take 4 days to create 1 listicle, and then you find out afterwards it's a loser. Okay, so here we got also Gary, for example, also a G in the e-com space I've seen, haven't met him, but asked Manes to recreate my listicle based on my top 5 winning ads, and boom. Okay, and yes, it's only 8 sales, guys. Don't go ahead and be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just 8 sales, that's why he has a high ROAS. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about here, like, it's working. Okay. Even I said, I'm going to go ahead and build out a ladder right now. And then I eventually did. And it also became our top performing listicle, what it was. So guys, next to that, hand in hand, coupling that with Claude, obviously for copywriting, research, and all the stuff I just showed you in the beginning on what we use it for. Like, this is going to make brand owners, operators, whatever you want to call it, it's just going to make you more unstoppable, right? And the goal in this race actually of AI is who goes ahead and creates SOPs for their business, for their brand, on their avatars, market research, and all that type of stuff. Have it already, so once it's time for like a new crawl bot comes out, where you can just go ahead and it can go ahead and do everything for you. Like I was talking to another guy a few days ago about AI. Like we're probably also going to be heading, not probably, for sure, going to head into a stage where if the guys that already have SOPs and all that type of stuff ready, we can just give it to whatever bot is going to be available. Then it's going to go ahead and create a Shopify store, create the whole design itself. It might even go ahead and launch a Facebook campaign for it, put it all in there, and then the only thing you have to do is click launch, connect your credit card, and you're going to do that manually. I wouldn't trust AI on running with my credit card connected to it before I see mine is a mill. So the goal of this message is that the people that front run having all the SOPs ready versus the people that see Manes for the first time and be like, I'm going to go ahead and create now my whole document in order to feed it. Like the ones who are quicker are always going to win. They're always going to win and front run you anyway. So it's always speed is key. So let's head into offers, guys. Enough chat about AI. Let's head into offers. So the goal is to convert as high as possible with a high AOV without hurting retention. Okay, as you guys know. So I'm going to first show you a really shitty example of an offer that's also running subscriptions, which I wouldn't recommend anyone. It's going to be BOGO. So buy one, get one, buy two, get two, buy three, get three. Like guys, and this hurts so much, your retention. Like it even hurts for me to see this. Like you're doing a buy one, get one free and you're delivering every 30 days, but eventually the customer is just going to feel overstocked. And they're going to end up canceling, right? Same counts for all these other offers. And I don't even understand like why you would have a buy one, get one free again here and even more expensive, like price anchoring, like the hell. So guys, don't run offers like this, especially with subscription. It's just, people are going to go ahead and say like, why the hell is my churn so bad? And if they don't even know about churn, they're going to be up for a surprise that they think, I'm acquiring customers super cheap, high conversion rate. And then eventually in the end is that you only keep 50% of customers in month 1 and then down to 30% in month 2. Like guys, that is not the way to run it. So I got 2 offers as an example for you guys to take inspiration from. So we got offer 2, which is going to be which I call the perceived value stack. Okay, so we got here a person of a brand that has a buy one, buy two, buy three, has their discounts, and they're giving for each pack, they're giving different goodies away, right? The higher, the better, obviously. So we got here the complete vitality system, 3 packs, 5 free bonuses, all guides, never plateau VIP access, Dr. Sharma masterclass. So I think they're doing some type of educational course content for their audience, and which is a very good thing that customers can learn in the meantime while they're waiting for the product. So yeah, this is why I call it the perceived value stack. The more to buy, the more the better info they're going to be getting, and the more you're going to also nurture and also teach your customer about your brand, your product, and get them to stay as long as possible. So chapeau to this guy that is running this. And then we also got another brand that is doing subscriptions, but they're doing a quarterly, they're doing a 90 and 30-day serving, so just 2 offers instead of 3, which is also perfectly fine. Obviously, everyone wants to push towards the 90-day offer. You want to get as much money as possible from the customer up front, right? So then we're going to have a quarterly supply, refill ships in 90 days. They get all these free products, and then if they buy once, so no subscription, obviously they have to pay the full price and no gifts added to order. Okay, and here you can also see the free gifts. And then we also got another offer, which is going to just be the general bundle discount, subscribe and save. Like, there's really nothing special to it, but you can also go ahead and do this. So we got here one offer. This is from Gruns himself. We got the subscribe and save, just giving out how many packs, so we can choose 1 or 2 adults. If they buy 2, they save also. Fast and free shipping, pause or cancel anytime, 30-day money back guarantee, how much they would pay per month, and then if they choose one-time purchase, they're going to obviously pay the double, right? So then they click start now. Same counts for this one, also one-time purchase versus subscribe and save. They get the discount on the subscribe and save, and then they can choose how many jars they want, 1, 2, or 4. This one works also very, very well. And then they can also even choose the frequency and how much and how many days they want to receive the next product. So if they're buying for multiple people, it makes sense to maybe buy 2 for 2 people in the household and then just choose the 24-day delivery. Okay. And we also got another one, actually exact same thing, but literally design is just different. We want to have a 1, 3, and 6 month supply. Subscribe and save would give them 10% more off. And then obviously you can see here the price per bag, and then also the total price that they were paying, how much they're actually typically paying per day. Okay, very good offers to take inspiration from. And my actual view on offers is the offer gets the customer through the door, but you should not go aggressive in front-end offer just to acquire a customer, especially with subscriptions. And that's why I went ahead and showed the BOGO offer to you guys so that you guys can see literally with your own eyes, like, this is not what you should be doing. And every little change, such as offers, ads, landers, pricing, can have an impact on your whole business and retention. So it's no longer from a CRO standpoint where you're going to just be testing something and be like, CVR went up, I'm just going to go for this. But then eventually it ends up hurting your retention for whatever reason, right? Maybe you're not making more money on the retention side, so you end up dropping your price with $10. And you thought that that's going to help acquiring customers front end, but then if your retention is still the same percentage, even though that your conversion rate went up, but you were making more money off of charging more because you would have the same lifetime expand with the same customer, like, then you're typically just losing more money on the front end, but also on the back end, right? So you need to be, so what my point is that you need to be really on top of the numbers and be aware of every single little change that you do to your store. How is that going to impact your customer, especially running a subscription brand? Is it gonna, every little thing, like I said, price, offer, landing page and stuff can literally affect how long a customer stays with you, how much money you're going to be making long term based on your LTV, and how much money you can also spend on ads to acquire customers, and even go negative if you want to, no financial advice by the way, if you want to go negative to acquire customers because your numbers are so dialed in that you understand that, okay, in month 2 or 3, I'll make it back from the customer because my customer stays 4, 5, 6 months. Okay? So the correct way of doing this is A/B testing a lot and track metrics on every pillar on your brand to find the right fit for acquisition and LTV. The numbers need to make sense. Next thing what we're going to go into is going to be, we're running this up 52 minutes, is going to be retention and backend, okay? So the goal is to bulletproof your business. Guys, I've been through a shit show with my previous supplier, with our previous brand. You've probably seen it already. Guys, you do not want to go through this. So bulletproof your business, super important. No one talks about this, so I'm going to do that for you. So we're going to have sourcing and supply chain. So why is supply chain so important? It's not just the acquisition, it's not just the retention, it's also about the delivery, right? So the supply chain is your backbone of your business as well. You can have the best ads in the world, but if your supply chain sucks, it will kill your business. It will just crush your business even. So refunds, chargebacks, PayPal holds, angry customers all come from the weak supply chain. So good supply chain, good product is a strong back end, meaning stable cash flow, meaning you can scale safely. Okay, so supply chain overview. Like I said, we got the ads and CRO stuff. We got the acquisition, and eventually the retention comes also from the supply chain side. But acquisition, ads and CRO, customer sees your ads, customer goes to your website and customer purchase product. Okay, and then the supply chain side plus retention is order gets shipped to the customer, post-purchase email flows and stuff, order gets delivered to the customer, survey and post-purchase survey also as well to get feedback on your product and whatsoever, maybe even service. And then we got after sale where you're gonna see is the customer happy or angry, and then you also have customer retention. The better, the longer your customers are gonna stay. Shit, the lesser your customers are gonna stay with you or even buy again from you. So you wanna make sure that this becomes green, okay? So we got two types of supply chain models, and guys, I'm not going to really run through this a lot because all of you know and understand this already. But the supplier, you got two models, right? So you got supplier with full control, which I'm completely against, and we got supplier fulfillment only. Okay, so with supplier with full control, we got one Chinese supplier that controls the entire backend. So they do the manufacturing for you, they do the sourcing for you, they do the shipping for you, and you literally just pay an invoice to them and that's it. So they, like I said, it's nice that they talk to the manufacturer for you, they place the manufacturing orders for you, they receive the stock in China, they ship worldwide, they arrange bulk shipments to your global hubs even if needed. So, you know, freight forwarding, sending boats or airplanes to Europe to deliver to any warehouse there and then having faster shipment there. And then they ship locally from, like I said, they're shipping locally from your hubs as well, they offer that. But to compare that versus the one that is only having one supplier, one manufacturer, one 3PL, one freight forwarder, you manage your own manufacturer and break your backend into multiple layers, not players. Your tasks are, you talk directly to the factory, negotiate pricing, negotiate MOQ, check capacity, request samples, control quality, build relationship directly, and you place your own production orders. Right, so you basically manage everything, right? So there's more work to it, but it's going to be in-house. It's going to be completely run by you, right? And even if you want to move to a new supplier for whatever reason, it's going to just be so much easier, right? Because otherwise you're going to just feel so choked with the first one that if I end up doing this, then it probably might impact my whole business, and they might not want to help, and then bro, it's just too much of a headache. It's good for starting off, but if you're scaling 6, 7, 8 figures, make sure that you break it into layers, guys. Like, no joke. Okay, go ahead and check how I got scammed by my supplier. It's on YouTube. You arrange transportation to your China 3PL. When stock is ready, you must arrange pickup, coordinate the factory to delivering your fulfillment center. Your supplier only does the shipping. They are no longer your sourcing partner. They are only your China 3PL fulfillment center shipping handler. Bulk shipment is on you. You need to arrange air freight, sea freight, maybe do the forwarding, customs clearance even, local 3PL in the US or EU, and final mile delivery partners. So you're going to be working with a lot more people. It's a lot more management. Your supply chain needs to really be on point. You don't want your supply chain manager to be making a mistake, because then you're going to be out of stock, meaning you're going to have to turn off ads, meaning you won't be able to deliver. And especially when it comes to subscriptions, you're going to have a lot of cancellations. So you don't want that. So there's pros and cons to both of them. But yeah, having a supply chain manager on this, like, guys, it's what's it going to cost? Like $3,000 for like a junior supply chain manager, and they'll arrange everything for you. Getting a supply chain manager that has a transport and logistic background might even help you even more. I even did that in school because I didn't really like school. I did that. It did teach me like freight forwarding, FOB, that type of stuff. But I did end up finishing international business studies, guys. So I wasn't just your transport and logistic guy. Okay, I got the both of best worlds in order to know how a business operates. But then again, you don't need school. So easiest way to so the pros for the first one is going to be easiest way to start. Saves insane amount of money. You can focus 95% on product and marketing, which is true. No operational headaches, no freight forwarding needed, no QC company needed. They already know the logistics game. You scale fast because backend is no longer your bottleneck or even your focus point, and less mistakes because fewer moving parts. Right? And then we also got the cons, which is less control over pricing. They're going to end up putting 20 cents on every single layer that you have. And then end of the day, you're paying them actually to be like a quote unquote business partner from supply chain. But yeah, you're not getting real margins. Like they're putting their margins every single bit that they can. So you're paying typically actually more. less control over pricing, less control over quality. You're dependent on one company. You do not know who's actually manufacturing your product. They can hide margins. If they mess it up, you have no backup. Harder to build real long-term brand infrastructure because you do not basically know what's going on, right? And they might not even tell you that there might be an issue because they also don't want to look like the bad guy or look like they did something shit. So yeah, better to do it in-house, guys. So like I said, pros and cons to this: more control, but also more responsibility. Direct relationship partners with all the manufacturers and parties that you work with. Direct quality check, you need to do it yourself, obviously. No middleman margins, so more profit for you. You can work with multiple factories. You can build custom products. You can control packaging and branding deeply. You are not dependent on one Chinese supplier, and you can help real brand. You can build real brand infrastructure. You can scale safely to 7 and 8 figures. You can switch fulfillment partners easily. You have full visibility in the back end. Like, guys, come on, man. I do not really need to explain this, bro. Like, cons: much more work. Requires a supply chain manager. More moving parts, more mistakes. Require quality check with every single batch. Yes, it's boring, takes long, it needs to happen. Requires freight knowledge. It's not that difficult, ChatGPT nowadays. Requires more capital. Requires SOPs and spreadsheets and planning, and obviously communication with every single party. And problems become your fault, not your suppliers, right? You take ownership. You need to take ownership anyways. Okay, so better safe than freaking sorry. Okay, like last time I would have mentioned it, but my supplier did me real bad because I just did not want to focus on that type of stuff. So better safe than sorry. Okay, let's dive into retention, guys. Retention, freaking love that. So retention, how are you going to go ahead and build out your retention strategy to make sure that customers even stay longer with you? So you can go ahead and maybe do some type of roadmap incentive strategy to get customers to stay longer. Perks that they unlock being a member of your brand, benefits wise, all that type of stuff. Email flow strategy also. A lot of people make mistakes on even sending out multiple campaign emails to your subscribers, and then they end up canceling. And then you also got the timeline solving section where the customer's issue is obviously solved. They need to have a realistic timeline. You guys are saying you can solve this in 7 to 15 days. But we all know when it comes to supplements and stuff, like, you need to take it long term in order to really start feeling the benefits. And the nice thing about doing this is also creating some type of habit creation, right? So you're not just giving and delivering the product for the sake of delivering and the product because they paid you, but also building some type of community. Like, make them create a habit. Go for you know, create a habit tracker. I'm gonna leave that to you before I start spitting out exactly what we're doing. So, incentive customers to stay longer on their subscriptions. Most churn comes from overspamming customers with emails. Giving customers a realistic timeline of solving their issue and a never-ending testing phase is retention, basically. So it can also feel super overwhelming, right? You gotta need to wait 1, 2 to 3 months before you get all the cohorts information in, of at least the data comes in, and you know you got a lot more. You know, you're hyped. You got a lot more stuff that you want to test out. You really think that this can really now take your retention to the next level. But the problem is, you need to have patience, okay? You need to have patience. So eventually, over time, just build out some type of roadmap for yourself to give you also clarity, and also delegate it to the team, or if you're doing it yourself, perfectly fine. Okay, we're going to end up testing this, wait for the results to come in. After this, we'll pivot to whichever branch are we going to end up doing, if the first one is a winner or a loser. So let's go ahead and head into the understanding your numbers side, which is so important and underrated by most. So understanding your numbers, you need to understand your LTV. Okay, so how long are customers typically staying with your brand? You want to have at least 3 months plus, 4 months if possible. Okay, the more LTV you have, the more you can spend towards your CPA, the more, meaning that you can go aggressive on acquiring customers and eventually building out more, at least a more stronger and bigger customer base. Okay, if it's high, then you're doing something good. And obviously we want to lower our churn / cancellations as much as possible. So we're also going to go ahead and create very feedback cancellation flows to understand why customers are canceling, which is more of a feedback survey for ourselves so that we can go ahead and improve that afterwards. And we also need to understand our cohorts. Like, even at our stage right now, we're doing $10.5 million last year. Right now, we're definitely going to end up doing 24 million plus this year, which I'm also going to get into the scaling part. We went ahead and acquired a retention manager and a subscription data analyst. Like, we need to, I love numbers. I know numbers. I can look at your cohorts and be like, okay, this is shit. This is, explain to me why or what you guys do. And I'll be like, okay, this is the problem. But, you know, go ahead and hire A players that have done it for bigger companies. Like, they have more insights than me. Like, I'm also still student to the game, guys, but I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So like I said, the higher your LTV, the more you can spend to acquire customers. You can eventually end up scaling past break even to get even to higher numbers if you hit a plateau, if you're still profitable on the front end. Signal that you're doing something right. Like I said, if your LTV is high or it's increasing, you're doing something right. And you also create predictable growth and income. And that is why I love MRR. Most important thing, I'm not going to yap too much about this because obviously you guys have probably seen my stuff. I ended up losing my Shopify payments also in Q4 in 2025. So went from $1.4 million in MRR back to 350K or something. So we had to build it all back up, right? So the most important thing for especially MRR guys, just my tip to you guys is going to be you need to own your data to some point. Okay, and that's going to be your subscriptions, your tokens and stuff. There's no way that you can go ahead and export tokens from Shopify if you end up losing it. So that's just my warning. All right, so the no-go is going to be Shopify payments, okay? Obviously, Shopify payments let go of Stripe. Not going to talk too much about them. I love Shopify payments for the service that they've created, but the Shopify payments thing after the whole FAMP ratio thingy just literally messed us up. So you need to understand the risks. You do not own your tokens on Shopify. Right? If you get disabled by Shopify, you lost everything that you built, at least 80%, right? So the right setup is going to be the MRR e-com solution in 2026 to be safe is going to be going ahead and acquiring third-party payment processing, for example, agent, but you need to do $1 million a month, and then having a CRM system which also offers a third-party checkout and also stores your tokens and all that type of stuff, right? If you guys really need help into this, because I do not want to yap too much about this, you need help in getting my exact subscription set up, go ahead and DM me on Instagram at Mr. Brand Owner, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. All right, guys, coming to the final part of this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you can do. If you have all these pillars set up, you're now at 300K plus a month, 500K, 800K, $1 million a month. Like, what are the things that you need to focus on? Because obviously, Creative Engine is a whole ongoing process on its own. It never stops. Because if that tap stops, then obviously the money stops flowing in. But there's a lot of different stuff that you guys can still focus on into, which you probably haven't even thought about. Okay, so I have two sides to this. One is going to be for the product only, one product store owners only. Okay, so also for us, by the way. So one thing that you can go ahead and do is omni-channel presence. So if you're already doing 300K plus a month, like guys, go ahead and try to get yourself on Amazon. Because, for example, if you run on Amazon, right, there are people, especially in the US, that will see your product and never buy from your store. The reason for that is that they're just such Amazon lovers, so they don't trust websites. They maybe had a bad experience ever, and it's a 10 to 15% percent of the pool of that's on Facebook that sees that. They will never buy on Facebook. So if you go ahead and want to start dominating the market, right, and crushing the competitors, make sure to also be omni-channel present. Okay, so for example, being on Amazon, also for those Amazon FBA lovers, they will see your ad on Facebook and go buy it on Amazon. So if you're not there, and for that 10-15%, you're basically doing free marketing for your competitors that are on Amazon, but you're not there, so they're going to end up buying it from the customer because now your ads did such an amazing job to convince the customer that they want to buy it or be like, I really need this. They're going to end up buying from your competitors. So you want to be omni-channel present. Okay. The next thing, very underrated, is going to be organic AI content. So one of the things that you guys can go ahead and do is start pumping out Instagram profiles. You guys can do your own research on this, on finding exactly how you can build this. But pumping out AI pro Instagram profiles or even TikTok profiles, eventually getting all your content on there organically so that you can start generating sales organically. And then you can build in a system eventually, I don't know, with N8N or whatsoever, go ahead and then start pumping out AI videos every single day. And then you're going to start building up an audience on those pools. You can direct them into, for example, Amazon, or direct them into some listicle or comparison page. And then they'll end up buying from there organically. Then you don't need to be spending more on ads, okay? Another thing is going to be finding new angles and avatars for your current hero product. Okay, that's obviously speaks for itself. It's an ongoing matter. I would still say that you should always focus on that, even though if you go focus on the other stuff. So make sure that your team is dialed in on focusing on finding new angles and avatars to target with your product. Next is going to be hiring and systems. So actually creating systems, SOPs, like I said, for your business, but also going ahead and hiring A players and even hiring an HR department that can go ahead and hire A players for you, because you don't want to be focused on freaking hiring when you're doing 500, 800K a month. Like it's I don't want to say it's not worth your time, but it's actually, you should focus on what you love doing best and just have someone just find winner of at least 8 players for you, okay? Optimizing OPEX, so how can we minimize on our business expenses so that our net profit goes up? Speaks for itself, I'll leave that to it. Another thing is going to be optimizing retention. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff that you can test with optimizing retention, and it's an ongoing, never-ending process. So we're going to all have to deal with that. Then we also got AI automation. What can we outsource in the business right now? For example, Manis went ahead and fired my landing page designer, but obviously it's not automation, but just utilizing AI to the business's capabilities in order for it to grow even more. And then obviously CRO tests, improving CVR and AOV, optimizing supply chain costs and making even greater, and also optimizing our customer service experience. Like this is everything that you can go ahead and test right now. Doesn't even matter at what level you are, but the more bigger task, like I would say that you need to be at least growing. Another thing is going to be multiple winning SKUs. Okay, so this is exactly where I'm at, and I'm going to just quickly also go ahead and draw this out for you guys. So right now we've already done over, what is it, $15-16 million with just one product only. We're right now at a phase that we want to go ahead and introduce new winners. Okay, we don't want to be dependent on just one product only, because if something happens for whatever reason, we're back to zero again. Okay, so we need to also go ahead and spread risk. So we want to go ahead and introduce new winners to the brand, which is going to obviously help us broaden our TAM, so total adjustable market, that we can even target more customers to come buy from our brand, and then it's going to also unlock new profitable scale up front. Okay, you already have the systems, you spend so much money on investing in your team and all that type of stuff, optimizing systems and just growing your brand in general. Like you just need to go ahead and just copy paste into a new product and then boom, unlimited scale, right? You can do that over and over and over again. And then you're no longer going to be dependent on one SKU, as I said, and it's also going to increase your brand value eventually for the exit. And like I said, you're going to get a more bigger exit value. How we're going to go ahead and do this is we're going to build pods for each SKU, right? We're going to utilize AI and we're going to rinse and repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this for you guys, okay? So when I say this is that, for example, we have one hero product. We're going to just call that pod A. So that's going to be our main hero product. So I'll just put main. And what we're going to then go ahead and do is, since I have a team of, creative strategists, we got editors in there, all that type of stuff. We got a media buyer, but media buyer is more, it's going to be more in between everything. They're obviously building and scaling this further out more, okay? So what we're then going to go ahead and do is, there are two things. We can either utilize our current team to get one of the creative strategists to focus on creating the second hero, but it's then obviously going to impact your performance on the first one, especially if you're high at scale and volume. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and create a testing pod, okay? So it's going to be a testing pod where we're going to give it 2 products every 60 days in order to find a new winner, otherwise they get fired, find a new winner so that we're going to keep our company, or at least get our company to keep growing, okay? So we give them product 1, we give them then a product 2. There's going to be a team of like creative strategists and also like an editor and maybe even a product researcher, so I'll just call it, PD. And then their goal is in 60 days to always find one winner. So if they don't find one winner, they end up obviously losing the job. But if they do find at least one winner and the other one is a loser, we've now found a new hero product which is going to unlock scale for our business, even if it generates 200K per month extra. Okay, we're going to go ahead, that's a ugly one. We're going to go ahead and then create a pod B, which will first start off small and eventually grow, and that's why I made this thing smaller. But we're going to have then hire at least a new creative strategist there. We're going to hire its own team of editors. They're obviously going to go ahead and focus on understanding the product even better. And then they just keep on eventually scaling this, and this is just going to go upwards, obviously. Yeah. And then we have like, eventually we have this product bringing us 2 mil a month. Okay. We have this product bringing us 2 mil a month. This one eventually also brings us 2 mil a month. Maybe even more, because obviously the TAM in this market is going to be even more than the first one. So we can maybe even go ahead and just, let's write this out. We're going to go ahead and scale this up to 8 mil a month. Okay. Boom. We're at 10 mil. 10 mil a month, 8 figures a month. Okay, and then afterwards, this is just gonna go ahead and then the clock resets. So then they're gonna go ahead and then find again 2 new products in 60 days, do that, boom, and then we're gonna go ahead and create then a pod C once they find a new winner, and then we're just gonna duplicate everything exactly the same, scale that back up again, and then that's how the brand keeps on growing. Okay, so no pumping and dumping stores here. Okay, and then another thing what you can also go ahead and do is if you're running a male brand just for male only, you can also go ahead and build a woman brand, okay, if you want. So those are the things what we're currently looking at. So guys, a lot of sauce. Last thing that I'm going to also dive into is going to be overall business benefits. So these are things that you guys are not utilizing right now. And we also got the whole meta invoicing update coming in right now. And I also have a YouTube video that I made recently about that. So you can go ahead and watch that on how to improve your overall cash flow. But you guys need to understand, or at least do some digging into improving your negative cash conversion cycle. So what that typically means is how long are we gonna keep money, how can we keep money as long as possible in our business bank account and pay our most biggest spenders of our business as late as possible, right? So obviously we all know the 2 biggest spenders in e-com are gonna be Facebook and also our inventory, okay? If you're even using 3PLs abroad, there's gonna even be more money in inventory. So our goal is utilizing payment terms with our suppliers, credit lines with our suppliers, even with Facebook, even credit cards, and just rotating credit cards if needed. So just maximizing the hell out of cash flow, especially us doing MRR. Like if we know our numbers, if we know our numbers and we're so dialed in, we can just go ahead and just optimize this, utilize this, and then we can go ahead and acquire customers on day 1, and we only need to pay for that customer on day, 75 or 100 or something, right? Then again, this is no financial advice. You need to understand cash flow. You need to understand what you're doing, and you need to be good at money management. And some people don't even feel comfortable with debt. So if you don't want to go ahead and not use debt, then obviously then just go ahead and work with the cash that you have. All right, you have the books Rich Dad Poor Dad. Go ahead and read that, and they talk all good about debt. But then again, I'm not a financial advisor. So guys, coming to the end of the video, what should you guys do? Like I said, or at least what I'm going to say, is it depends where you are, okay? It depends also what route you want to go to. There's always work that can be done. The work never ends, especially in e-com. So like I said, what I have here, nothing of at least neither are wrong. Check your current business situation, make a decision, and execute. Like literally, that's my advice, all right? All right, guys, we've come to the end of this video. I hope this was all super valuable for you guys. Like, guys, I dropped literally an hours and 70 minutes long, just value that you guys can go ahead after this video and go and implement in your business. Like this video is literally made just for the top 1%. There's 99% of the people are not going to act upon this, and the 1% that I am able to help, I'm more than happy to see succeed also in the game. So guys, make sure to also go ahead and check out my latest YouTube videos. I'm about everything e-com, insights, and journey. I'm sharing everything, also what I'm doing myself. So I got here a couple of videos that is going to definitely also just give you more insights and knowledge about us and what we do, and also just give you more info in general. So guys, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I'm going to be replying to the first 50 people in the comments. Any question that you have, I'll be personally answering it myself. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to leave your comment below, and I'll be replying. And the last CTA, guys, for the direct response guys, follow me on Instagram. I'm documenting my whole journey on Instagram. Instagram is going to be at Mr. Brand Owner. It's also going to be in the link in the description. So make sure to follow me, and I'll also see you there on Instagram, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.